In this lesson I'm going to talk about parallelograms. The lesson portion of it's going to be pretty quick because the first thing I'm going to start off with is just the rectangle. How do we find the area of a rectangle? Most of us have learned how to find the area of a rectangle in the past. A couple different ways. Some will look at it as this is the length and this is the width, and they'll say, well, I can find the area of a rectangle by doing length times width. Or another way would be, instead of calling it the length, sometimes this is referred to as the base, and then this one is the height. And another way you can find the area of a rectangle is your area equals the base times the height. A couple different options. It's really the same thing, so don't worry about which one you do. I actually prefer this one, but this one is just as good. And I'll show you why I prefer this one on the next slide. Because now I come here and I say, well, how are we going to find the area of this parallelogram? The blue. Well, notice I have this rectangle here, and if I take this rectangle, I notice that the length of the base of the parallelogram and the rectangle, those two lengths are equal. And then if I look at the height of my parallelogram and my rectangle, I notice those are equal as well. Well, what happens then is I can take this rectangle and essentially put it like this, and notice that it's all filled in, other than I have that little triangle over there on the right that's not filled in the rectangle. Well, I can pull this part of the parallelogram off and put it right in there. And now I'll notice that my parallelogram fills the rectangle. So that tells me that if I know the base of the the base of the parallelogram and the height of the parallelogram, I'm going to be able to calculate the area of my parallelogram the same way I calculated the area of my rectangle. So I'm going to use area equals base times height. And the reason I did that is because a parallelogram really doesn't have length and width, so I'm going to use the base and height one. So there's the formula to calculate the area of a parallelogram, one that you're going to want to stick into your head and not forget, because it will be very, very beneficial to you. And that's where I'm going to conclude the lesson portion.